Hey everyone, welcome to the Oasis Podcast. I'm your host, Miss AJ. Thanks for tuning in. An oasis is something that provides refuge, relief, or a pleasant contrast, and that is exactly what you will find tuning into the Oasis Podcast. This is a space where I and special guests will be cultivating intentional and honest conversations about life's journey. Subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts and watch us on YouTube now. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Oasis Podcast. As you can see, we have a brand new guest today. So please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers.
First of all, thank you for having me. My name is Chad Scott. I'm a life relationship coach, and I focus more on accountability. So I'm almost like an accountability partner.
Okay, I like that word, accountability. I like that. So before we even jump in, give us a little more background. Like, how did you even get into life coaching and doing all that?
So it's funny that I never wanted to be this guy to give relationship advice, but every time I tell people about this, they're like, you've been doing it for years. So it seemed like I've always been that guy would help bridge the gap between relationships. I've always been fascinated in relationships and that dynamic. Whether it's family, relationship with someone you dating, just in general, that dynamic always been interesting to me. So I was almost like I said before, bridge the gap between men and women and using that to make sure we're on the same page, so to speak. So I've always been that person. So getting into coaching and relationships happened officially last year when I got certified to be a life relationship coach. But what I've been doing and helping people, I guess my name to fame is me helping women get married. So it started while I was in college to get my first ring. I thought none of it because I was in the entertainment business. But then eventually when I got to the 10th ring, people were like, you need to do something, do a workshop or something, write a book. I'm like, I'm not that guy. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a workshop. I linked up with a company called Playtime Worldwide. I did a workshop and I did 3 of them. And now we at 21 rings. I helped 21 women get married. And out of 21 that got married, only one had relationship complications.
Relationship complications, AKA?
Had to get a divorce.
Okay.
But I told her not to marry him once I got more. It's almost like a doctor. If you don't be honest and transparent about what's going on, then I'm telling you what I'm getting.
Right.
Then when it came revealed to me, I said, oh, no. It ain't there. But she was like, I tell people all the time, you want the marriage, you want the ring. Because anybody getting married, like getting a record deal. But you want to be with someone you want to. But if you want the wedding, you want a ring, you can have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. So much I want to jump into. So first and foremost, there's tons of people out here giving relationship advice, claiming, I don't know what their claim to fame is, to be 100% honest, but some of them are not even certified, you know what I mean, to even giving out this information. But I guess it's off their life experiences, or they're just feeding off, the wave. They're feeding off people's emotions for monetary gain. So that's one thing. So to listeners and viewers, he is certified, y'all. Okay. That's number one. Right? He is certified. But of course, disclaimer, right? I don't think anyone necessarily should tell you step by step what you should do for your life. You hear it and apply what's necessary. Apply what makes sense, right? Add it to your toolkit. And that's essentially what this conversation is for. He ain't gonna tell y'all step by step, listen here, this is how you get married. No, we ain't here for that. That's not what we're doing. A conversation is about relationships. And honestly, it started out me putting a post out there looking for, people who want to talk about marriage, essentially, right? In the Black community. Because, I love my people because Black is a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, that is.
Okay. So it's always about the improvement of us as individuals, but also us as a community. So I wanted to have this conversation. It popped up several times last season when I had a few guests, male guests at that. And I said, you know what? I need some male perspective. I need some males I want to hear what they have to say. So, I was put in contact with you, Chad, and then we started talking and I was like, oh, I think we should kind of change this up a little bit because you do have an expertise and I definitely want to hear what you have to say. And I know others definitely want to hear what you have to say because dating while 30, baby, because
Yeah. It's a struggle for real.
It's stress. So that's how we kind of work here. So we're going to just jump right in because when you and I were talking, that, what is it? On social media, it's been floating around this, what you bring to the table. Either it's a meme or a conversation. I've seen other like videos, people tossing around and talking. And honestly, you kind of brought it up, but when I on my own was thinking about it, I was watching some of these, I was like, I see some videos with some dudes, oh, what she brings to the table. If I want somebody who can cook and clean, I could pay for that, or this and this. And it's like, is that really what you think a purpose of a partner, a mate is? Is that all you think a female brings to the table? And it really rubbed me wrong. But, you know, I said, whatever. But in talking to you, and you brought that up, I said, oh, we got to talk about this. We have to talk about this now. So what is your perspective? Share your thoughts.
All right. So that question always feel loaded. Like, what do you bring to the table? And you put people in defensive space. It put people in defensive, like, what do you mean? I got to validate who I am to you?
True.
So it do not serve its purpose, right? I understand where it's coming from, but that means you're not in tune with what you want in a relationship, right? If you're in tune with a relationship, I don't have to tell, you don't have to convince me. I already know by getting to know you better. Does we fit? Are we compatible? And I think that whole concept of what you bring to the table shows that you look in that relationship as a service.
Transactional.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with partnership. It's what you, okay, we have sex, you cook, you clean. I could cook, I could clean already. So what else you got? Like, it's almost that, right? So what happens is a lot of times when you come from that mindset, that means you're not in tune with what you're looking for or your vision of relationship. And that's why I tell people all the time, the best question is expectations, right? Instead of having the whole concept of what you bring to the table, what's your expectations when it comes to dating? Is it end goal? What's your expectation when it comes to relationships? What's your expectation when it comes to marriage? Because my idea of what a wife is may not be your idea of what a wife is. So therefore, what happens is people get married and they're like, you're not what I thought it going to be. That's what your head. Y'all didn't even talk about this. You didn't even talk about kids or your dietary habits. Are you a vegan? Like, we were just so caught up in the, we love love.
Yeah.
But we don't have the, you know? We need to have honest conversation. I think that if more people have more honest conversation, we will have more of a better outcome to come to dating, relationships, and marriage. Because there's different stages to it.
There are different stages, and you talked about expectations. So again, and I think another thing that floats around is this word expectation. They tell you, oh, you shouldn't have expectations of people. That's how you get disappointed. And that again was another thing that always boggled me. So then if I don't have expectations, that means that I should just accept whatever's being given to me, right? I think there's a difference in having expectations and sharing them and having expectations and not saying nothing and just having it in your head, right? Because I think those are two different things. But you should have expectations. You should have a standard. You should have things that you want and that you feel that you desire and that you need. But I think, as just like what you mentioned, people don't talk about it. They're afraid to talk about it, right? They're afraid that it's going to run that person away. So in your experience, if you can talk about, you know, in your coaching and what you do, how often does the lack of sharing expectations kind of diminish or kind of damage a relationship?
So, like you said before, come to expectations, right? People feel like that's another word. Like, don't say that, you know, don't have the conversation. They don't want to rock the boat, so to speak, right?
Yeah. That
going with the flow is not working. You have to have purpose. This have to make sense. Damn that boat, right?
Yes.
So what you're saying about expectations, every time I bring it up in a conversation when I'm coaching someone, even when I'm doing it for so many years before I became certified, it always come down and they look at me like I'm saying something foreign. They're like, what? Expectations? What do you mean? And I'm like, all right, what's your expectation when it comes to dating? You need to have an understanding what yourself is. For me, right? When I talk to a woman I'm trying to date, or I let her know that I like to talk on the phone more than I like to text. I like to go on date night at least once a week. Like, I'm letting you know what I'm looking for, and you can let me know if that's not your thing. I don't like talking on the phone. I don't like, and then we see there's some compromise here, or even though I may smitten, you may be attractive, we're just not a right fit. And it's okay. It's some, you know, it's like red flags, yellow flags, green flags, like it's a carnival. But you need to have that navigate to see what works for you. But everybody so caught up in, I like you, so I'm going to force it on you. I like you, so I'm going to try to mold you or build a bed. No. Really be honest and see what you have in front of you and make a executive decision like, this is not serving me. But people get so caught up in, like we said before, like, they want it so bad. And that's where we gotta be careful where you keep coming in from. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why you want a relationship, why you want to date, because you come from a place of loneliness or depression or that kind of space.
You're trying to fill something that's lacking inside of you. Yes. Because the reality situation is, relationships are hard as fuck.
Yes.
And it is not hard in a sense of like this extreme level of difficulty, but hard in the sense of that it takes work every day. Right? Yeah. And the hope is just like what they say, when you find your passion, it doesn't feel like work. The hope is you find that right relationship. It won't feel like work, but you are working on it every day. And that's what people don't understand. That shit is not easy. That person is the most attractive person you ever met in your life, the chillest, most person you've ever met in your life. And you're still going to y'all gonna bump heads. Y'all gonna disagree. Y'all going to see things differently. And y'all gonna have to learn to work through those things. And people they don't understand it. They think, oh, it shouldn't be this difficult. There's a certain level of difficulty that should not be there, right? There's like, from out the gate, y'all just can't have a conversation without yelling and screaming, so there's a certain level of difficulty you shouldn't have. However, it is supposed to challenge you. You're supposed to grow. Like, there's supposed to be some type of evolution, some type of movement, but that's work. That's work.
Yeah, and like I said before, I think that some people get caught up in thinking that because I love you, it all will fall into place. But love isn't enough. And we talk about, you focus more, understand Black love and going through that process where at the end of the day, we at 60% marriage divorce rate, right? So obviously love isn't enough. You really have to understand what a partnership is and really understand what do y'all want together. So yes, even though the difficult times, we're on the same page instead of we two ships in the night. And we want to work on it because no one a yes man or yes woman. Like, we really going to have some bump heads, and we got to see, is this something that really need to be understanding, or with just some things we're not going to always agree on, and just how can we work on it?
I agree. And I think if we're talking about the rates, because I mean, I've never been married, so I can't speak for marriage, but for those that I know who have been married or are married, and just getting in a relationship in general, just like what we've already kind of touched on, but to add on to it is people get into them for different reasons. They may not even be on the same page of why they got into the relationship. And then when they move on to marriage because they think it's a gradual progression, like, oh, this is the next step, right? Or I'm at an age, so I should do it. Or we got 2 kids now, I should do it. And it's never, it's not usually done in a sense of, not only does it make sense logically, but it also makes sense emotionally. And marriage is a partnership, right? People say, oh, it's a business, but it's not business in a sense of that's all it is, because I don't agree with that. I don't think that's all that marriage is. However, it is a partnership in the sense that you have to work together to make decisions. You have to work together for it to move, right? And regardless of how that looks, everyone's marriage looks very different. So there's no cookie cutter way, but it needs to be a mutual thing. It can't be one person pushing the other person in that direction. It can't be one person having these expectations that they never verbalize, and then now they get into this union and it's like, whoa, what? And I think that's why divorce rates are what they are, because when you're in a relationship, it's, even if you've been in it for years, it doesn't feel as serious, if that makes sense. So you feel me? Like, it's like I can always get out of this. Whereas marriage, it's a little scary for people, one, to get into, because they're like, ah, damn, it's a harder process to get out of. But you shouldn't go into it thinking you're going to get out of it, right? Like, it has to be that we're going to do whatever we need to get to make this work. Again, with a minus abuse, physical, mental, emotional, financial abuse. No. But we should do whatever we need to get this thing to work. And it's still just like what the relationship was. We got to work at it every day. You don't start working when you get in a marriage. That's not how it happens. You've been working and you're going to keep working every day. What are your thoughts on that? Like, I guess before I even ask that, what, for the people that you've spoken to, that you've helped, what were the things that you saw that they were coming to you with? And I guess, how did you help them get to that next step?
All right. So like you said, every relationship I say is like a snowflake. It's different, right? So it's about functioning. The only time I get alerted or something when it's not working, right? But then it comes to people that single or dating someone like Chad, what's going on? The first thing I do is I assess their self-esteem. Because I understand that the more you love yourself, the less fuckery you will entertain, right? Okay. So I got to figure out where you at that part first. I look at self-esteem first. Then from there, understanding what you're looking for, the boundaries and that nature. But when it comes to relationships and marriage, it's work. I tell people all the time that once you get married, this is when the show begins. This is going to be this is like, yes, so you said relationship you can always get out of, like, break up, it may hurt, whatever. But marriage, like you said, is not all business, but it's part love, part business. Your business is everything come together, right? And some people that broke still be nervous about that. It's weird. Bless their hearts. But when you come together, there is a business here, right? So you have to understand functioning. This good person, good partnership with us. And I think that what happens is, like I said before, I think so many people get caught up in just the love and not understanding the logistics, the day-to-day operations. How can y'all function and what's your end goals and what's your common goals and what's your personal goals? And how do that all work in what you're trying to do? Because like you said, you by yourself, you do go what you want, move the way you move, make a big ticket purchase and have a blast. But in the marriage, there's a conversation that need to happen. And people just don't get caught up like, or their vision of what marriage looks like. So if I'm marrying a woman that feel like the man pay all the bills and I stay home, and my vision was, I want to stack money together to build this. Then we need to figure that out. And not till we marry, like,
right.
Got to tell you.
Right.
Quit my job next week.
You're like, what?
I'm married now.
Right.
So so that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of people get so caught up in the sunny day and the look of it, but not really understanding relationship, what it means. And like you said, as you get older, you have to be more understanding that potential of expiration date. You have to be more conscious and purpose of what you're doing. Because like I said, we talked about earlier about going with the flow. That maybe in your 20s.
Nah.
Ain't nobody playing with potential. But at a certain age, you realize that potential of an expiration date and people stayed around too long and you kind of block your blessings, or you're the type of woman that don't like to date multiple men. It's just, it's just different levels to it. So like I said, I always try to figure out where the person at first when they come to me or we talk, and then I try to figure out the rest. But I always look at self-esteem at first and then understand, like, listen, who you pick to be your partner, it's a game changer. Like, it really would dictate how the future of your life will look like.
Yes.
So just because you dickmatize or just because this guy do this, that sounds cool. I feel you. But understanding there's more layers to it.
So I know you mentioned assisting, mainly, I guess your main clientele might be women. Do you also, have these conversations with men? Because I know quite a few guys and their methodology, I'd be like, bruh, what are you doing? And they're good guys and they get with these girls and they get hurt, and it's like this constant cycle. Or they're, in between guys because, they have some fuckboy tendencies and and things are happening. They're not understanding, why is she reacting like this? Like, it's you,
Yeah.
So do you also have these conversations with men? Because, it takes two to tango.
Yes. The gift and the curse that a lot of women get mad when it comes to all these relationship coaches and everybody always focus on women, right? Women, you should do this. Women, you should do this. Like, what about the men?
Exactly.
Right? It's accountability there. The problem is that those men is not coachable. They feel like they're winning already. Right? So as women set the tone. So I can sit here all day like, my brother, you should do this. You should want to do this. You should want more out of your life. Chad, what are you talking about? I get women.
And they get what they want from them too.
Yeah, I have a sex with them, or I get women. Who are you talking about, dogs?
Yeah.
And that's why I said that. So what's the point of me being a dead horse? What's the point of me keep on beating into them? No, I have to show you. But if women understand and they create those boundaries, the guys will change. Remember back in the days, flower dates, pick you up, all that things was the thing we was doing. of courtship.
Right.
Now I can text it and get it popping. So they feel like they winning.
Yeah, it's true.
So me sitting there bringing it down, it's what awareness that we need to do. But on my workshops, more men come. So I told the guys here and there, but it's guys that's ready to understand and they're ready for marriage. They lay up Chad. I think she's the one, man. Or they come to me to start game playing date nights. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's more of that part. Instead of guys like, Chad, it's one, like, few guys hit me up on something, help me find a woman. But it's not like I'm willing to do the work. Chad, you post nothing but women. Put me on. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't co-sign you. My apologies. And that's why some women get mad at me about that. They're like, Chad, you're so great. Why you don't have? I wish I could. That's sad. I know so many dope women, phenomenal women, and very few men I cannot co-sign. It sucks.
All good points. So I want to go back to the point you made in regards to the men aren't coachable because they're winning.
And they mind. So
can you elaborate on that?
They feel like they're winning because they have women sweating them. They got these insecure women that trying to find being there, trying to find that love, trying to win them over. They got women paying for love. They got women doing so many things for them. They looking at it like, what are you talking about?
Like, why do I need to put in more effort? Like,
it's a plethora. And also, one of my OGs, Woods, he talks about how there's something called good black man syndrome, right? Where we're a good black man, so since the playing field, so we mostly intelligent, we got a good job, we got this, we got that. It's a plethora of women to choose from. Yeah. So get to the point where I don't who to choose. They feel like they like we baddies in a sense, right? So it's understanding that too. Like some guys, so they feel like they winning, and even the F boys gonna feel like they winning. So only when you really want change, when you feel like enough is enough. That's why it's funny how you can hear a guy say, "You know what? I'm ready to settle down," and in 2 years they marry. You like,
right.
He dating with purpose.
Right.
Or dating with fun, and you want to gaslight or sell a woman dream like. I just want to go with the flow, but if someone comes up, I'm not against it.
And she thinking, okay, that could be me. Okay. No, it ain't.
Yeah, I'm out. I can pull a bay. I can see potential in him. Yeah. He just sold your dream to buy him time. And hopefully that you get stigmatized, that it clouds your judgment, and this prolonged thing happens. And a lot of women, though, even though you're single, you will be faithful to that man.
Yeah. And that's how you know single relationships. And oh my gosh, years go by, and you're like, and he quick to be like, we not together though.
Yeah. You try to check on something like, whoa, we're not together, right?
No.
I thought we kiss, we do this, we had unprotected sex. That's not a contract signing. You assume you do relationship things that meant that y'all in a relationship. So that's what I'm saying. Like you have to be. That's why I always talk about being accountable, right? Controllable. We could sit here and play victim. They should have just told me what it was.
Yeah, but did you ask? Or did you say you wanted?
Yeah, I'll tell you what time. Consistency is greater than actually greater than words. You have to look at the consistency. That will help you understand their pattern and their character. The pillow talk here, the light little moves here, the little date here, the little move here. But see, he know how to love, right? Yeah, but now you got to understand, you got to take accountability and make an executive decision where this does not serve me anymore. I got to figure it out. And like I said, a lot of times people feel like being so long. Like you said, we've been in a situation for 2.5 years. Hopefully, I could tire him out. Right.
And that's not what happens, because I know I have got friends and they will be talking to one girl for 2 years. And I'm like, bro, so all this talking you doing. You still not sure if you like her? Nah, you bullshit. Leave that girl alone, fam. Just why she even let you do that to begin with? Because I'm baffled. So I'm okay. So 2 things I just wanted to address what you said before about that good guy syndrome, because I actually didn't hear it. I've never heard that terminology exactly. However, when I was in the game, because thank God I'm not anymore. When I was in the game, I encountered that. I found myself having these conversations with my homegirls. Like, you know, I'm a particular education, this, and that, and the third. So you're trying to date like-minded men, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, he got education, he making good money, et cetera, et cetera. We're on the same playing field. But then I found that these men will act in such a way. You know what I mean? Like, you supposed to be chasing me, bruh. That's not how that works. They feel like they put so little effort because, yeah, they're a good Black man. Oh, I got the kids. I got a good job. I'm making money. I got a car. I got my own place. Me too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the thing is, yeah, it was annoying for me. And I was like, I'm good on that. But women were flocking to them because of those qualities. Yeah. So they didn't feel the need to put in a certain level of effort or as much as they should have. Because, they checked off all these boxes, so all they had to do was sit back
and send check your temperature text. That's all you had to do. Check the temperature. Hey, what you doing? Hey, what you doing? Oh, you showering? Oh, without me? Like, and then the girl then it's so they didn't have to do too much effort because it was a plethora of women that would entertain him because of the status, so to speak. It's almost like dudes moving like rappers.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? They're educated, whatever, and they realize that now that I'm at this level of my life, I have a plethora of women that I don't have to really pursue, so to speak. I can just check the temperature here and there, and then hopefully maybe one wow me enough. But if I'm not in that space, I'm not in that space.
It's true. Men are in that mentality, but we have to also, as women, be accountable. We allow them to do that. And when I say allow, is meaning, yeah, when he hit you up with what you do in text, and that's all he do, you're responding, right? You see on social media a lot of women are like, oh, hit me more than what you doing, But he's doing that because he's gotten responses.
Yeah.
You feel me? But if you hit him with he hits you with what you do and be like, I'm going to need more than that. You feel me? Like, I'm going to need this, that, and the third from you. And then fall back. Don't entertain him when he's not giving you that. You will get what it is you're looking for. So in my experience, again, my friends would be like, you really said that? Yeah. When I'm dating somebody, first date. Here's the card, sir. And that could be on anything. Back in the day, if y'all listen to my past podcast, I was a different woman back then. I would say what I need to say. Hey, this is what I'm looking for, and this is what I'm not. You with it or not? Cool. You feel me? And if things change, when I say why things change, usually if my mind is made, my mind is made up. So usually the men's minds might change, and I'll be like, remember we talked about this? But then now, older, more mature, you know, I'm like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not saying it has to happen tomorrow. However, I want it to happen. Where your mind at with that, right? What is it that you're actually looking for? And people's like, oh my gosh, on the first date, why would you say that? Why would you ask that? So when should I ask for this? When we are about 6 months in, and then find out, oh, I don't want to have kids and get married, or whatever the hell you're looking for. Or I don't want a long-term relationship, or I don't believe in monogamy. I don't wasted all this time. No, ma'am, I'm not with it. First date, hey, what's up? What's good? At that point, I feel that's the best time because you don't have anything to lose. You're not invested. So why not ask for what you want? Why not really pick that person's brain to see where they're at and then decide, should I invest my time and emotion? I feel people do it the other way around. They invest the time and emotion and then have the serious conversations.
Yeah.
That does not make sense.
Yeah, because once again, they was trained to go with the flow. They were trained not to rock the boat. They were trained that don't scare him away. Don't scare him away. If he runs away, he ran away. Good. Like, look at that as a blessing.
Yeah, exactly.
But people don't. That's why I said I always look at self-esteem, right? If you don't feel valued, if you don't love yourself, you're looking for validation on others, right? And within that, you're trying to dim your light to make someone feel comfortable and see something in you. So you feel like if I lose this, the unknown.
Yep.
Right? So even though I know he's not the guy for me, it's the tension. Because it's a weird quote that was out on Instagram like 2 years ago. I used to hate it every time, right? It was like, sometimes I feel like I was put on the earth to give more love than I receive. Right? I like, that makes no sense. What happens is, just because damaged people gravitate towards you, don't mean you need to save them or love them. They need to go to a therapist, not just sugar walls.
That's trauma. Yeah.
You gotta do the work. But they looking at it like, they be on me just because people, just because somebody likes you, right? And I understand, it's good to be liked and people like you and find you attractive. That's amazing, right? You do not have to entertain everybody.
All right.
Right? Because if you get mad, you can't get mad that you entertain these clowns and you like how I get in the circus.
Mm-hmm.
You entertain the clowns.
Mm-hmm.
But that means that if you need attention for somebody, that shows something else is lacking, right? So once again, like I said, I talk about being accountable, but I know that's not sexy. People don't want to hear that.
And that's work. And people don't like work.
Yeah. So that's why I understand, even with coaching, even when I do relationship workshops, I understand it's not a car salesman. I'm not selling you the dream of get married, get the ring. The first thing out my mouth, workshop is called How to Stop Negotiating with Terrorists. The first thing out my mouth is you are your biggest terrorist. Right? So if you're like, I just came for the ring. What I do with me? It's the guys. I'm like, yo, you have to understand, you have to love yourself. You got to do the work. People are like, how do you love yourself? We talk about the steps of how to love yourself. One of the things is take on short-term, long-term goals, build on that. Your short-term goals will go into the big goals, will give that confidence, right?
If you can't commit to yourself, how are you going to commit to somebody else?
Yeah.
I definitely want you to get through some of those steps. I'm not saying you got to give all your stuff.
No.
I'm charging for that. But I do want to comment on something that you said, because I've also seen some stuff on social media. Oh, I'm tired of people saying you need to love yourself before you find someone to love you, or something like that. It's a variation of that. And people had issue with people telling you to love yourself. I'm confused. It's not to say that if you don't love yourself, that you can't be in a relationship or you can't, quote unquote, find love. However, the quality that you're going to give and find is going to be very different. And if you cannot commit to loving yourself in the way that you need to be loved, of putting up your boundaries, because boundaries is also love, of being disciplined, because discipline is also love for yourself, how is it that you're going to enforce those things when you are in a relationship? How are you going to enforce that when you are in this state of love? Because love, quote unquote, makes people dumb. So how is it that if you don't have these things built up in you, that you feel you're going to be able to, one, provide it, but also make sure that you're getting what you want? It's like, how is that difficult to understand? I was confused.
So what happens is this, right? And this is another, I call it a Jedi mind trick. What happens is this, right? This happens mostly women. They feel like you don't have to be perfect, right? You don't have to be perfect. So they think when you're saying do the work and love yourself, that means that you have to be perfect. No one's perfect here, right? But what it is you understanding you doing the work and understanding, you said, create the healthy boundaries, understanding what you're looking for, what you want. A lot of people don't know what they want. That's why they're throwing at the wall and see if something stick. A lot of people don't know what they want.
Yep. So
the problem is to sit down and really understand what you're looking for, what you want.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know until you start dating. You're like, oh yeah, yes, no. That
ain't it.
That ain't it. I don't know what I want, but I know I want that. That's part of the struggle, right? So what happens is people just think that I'm not, it ain't, women tell me too, like, Chad, I'm not perfect. So sometimes I get caught up in that, understanding that I'm not perfect. So that person, even though I understand, I see the flaws here, I see the red flags, who am I to judge?
Right.
It's not judging. It's about being compatible with that person. And because that person may be attractive and you see potential in that person, you also understand, are they doing the work? The thing they need to work on, are they working on it?
I want to throw in something. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I believe in judgment. Let me tell you why. I'm not God. So there's a difference, right? My judgment is not going to condemn you. Okay? However, I am human, and judgment is how we survive. And I think people need to understand that you are here because your ancestors had good judgment. Okay? You survived to this age because you had good judgment. So you are supposed to judge those and situations and things and people around you to preserve not only your life, but your peace, your mental, your emotional. You're supposed to judge. So somebody is doing something or they're not in a space that you want to be in, that you think you can handle. Make a judgment. The judgment is, this ain't for me, and I'm gonna go left. I don't understand why people are so afraid of the word judgment. I don't understand. We judge every day, because it's for survival.
So, I also talk about it's okay being a quote unquote bad guy, right? So a lot of people don't want to be the bad guy. right? They want.
I've been called that.
Take a look at the bad guy. Yeah. So what happens is, even the mindset, right? I said, look at even yourself, right? I do at the workshop. I tell people all the time, look at yourself as a brand, right? And with that understanding is, the first thing you do, create a new brand and remodel it, is take inventory, right? You take inventory of what's good, what's working, what's not working. Okay. Now, this is when that whole, I don't be a bad guy. There's going to be people in your life that you will have to demote, promote, and some you may have to fire. Mm-hmm. It's not being a bad guy. You just love yourself more. Mm-hmm. And I think people don't want to do that, or we had some history of friends, like even family. Like, you won't have to cut some people off to create the boundaries. And it's okay, you quote unquote bad guy, and they let them have their narrative. Whatever. Have a blast. Mm-hmm. But you know what you stand on. And it's not unreasonable, right? You're not being a terrorist. You're not being unreasonable what you're looking for. So what happens if people don't want to be that person and feel like judgment or judging someone, be like, let's go with the flow and see. No. If you know this not working for you and you addressed it and the person is dismissive and don't care, you gotta make the moves. And now if they do acknowledge it, like, I'm working on it, yes, give it grace.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you need to see some action behind it, because you're gonna sell your dreams all day. I'm working on it.
Yes.
Like I said, even me, when I demoted my ex, we had conversations about what I'm looking for, what I need. Mm-hmm. She agreed. Mm-hmm. I wasn't asking for nothing crazy. Great. The grace has been activated. Mm-hmm. We gave some grace. I even said anything I could do to help to get what I need out of the relationship. Mm-hmm. Nah, Chad, you're great. Thank you. Far too kind. Eventually, it came up again. So after a while of being a dead horse, you have to make a executive decision and say, listen, this does not serve me anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't cheat. I don't do that game. I'd rather replace. So I have to demote you. We still cool buddy pals. Like, and I can help you still navigate life and still as a friend. But as my girlfriend, I need and want more.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I may not be him. No matter how dope I am, I may not be that person that made you want to rise to the occasion. But instead of having an ego, unhealthy one, I feel like you gonna love me because I'm dope. No, we were not compatible. Like you said, sometimes a timing thing or not. But at this moment, this ain't it.
Compatibility is essential, and I don't think people understand the difference between compatibility and this chemistry, which I think is a part of compatibility. Yeah. And then there's just like lust. Those are two different things, but I don't think people understand the difference.
Because it feels good. Mm-hmm. They just about to feel good. Everybody, like you said, you talked earlier about discipline, right? People want to feel good. So even though they know back in their mind, this is not going to be long-term, they like, this feels good right now. Yep. And maybe I could mold this person to be the person I want.
And that's the number one no. Because ain't nobody going to change unless they want to motherfucking change.
Yeah.
And that's point blank period. Can't nobody mama make them change. Can't no, if they don't want to do it, you should never in your mind think, oh, I can help. Because if they want to do it, they would have did it. Now, does that mean that you can be with somebody and they don't change? They can, but it is up to them to decide. Maybe your presence, maybe whatever, your life, how you live your life might influence that want to change, but it's up to them to make the steps. It's not for you to carry them. It's not for you to push them. It's for them to view and think for themselves, hey, I think I'm ready. And then they're going to act accordingly. They won't need you to constantly nudge them. They won't need you to constantly tell them, hey, nah, I didn't have no kids. I ain't raising no grown men. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but like I said, that's why I always focus on the space it's coming from, right? When it comes to dating relationships, like where are you at in that space? Is you really looking for partnership, or are you trying to beat the clock? Because that would dictate how you navigate this. Nice. And then also who you dating, who your preferences and all that. Like, you have to understand those things before you look. It's like a job interview. You have to find what you're looking for.
That's true. Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want to do that. I like you, I'm spitting, I'm gonna power through it.
It takes work. They don't want work.
I know. That's what I said. I'm not fun. I'm not the fun police. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. Like, that's why I don't force myself on people. I'm very open-minded. My workshops is more of a conversation. The one-on-one is more of a conversation. Because like you said, I can't control this. If you like it, I love it. And I thank God that even though I love what I do, I don't have a Superman complex. I understand I can't save everybody. And it's okay. All I could do is give you the best tools and say, hey, you may have to look at this. You may have to look at that. Just like the girl I told you about when she said, Chad, I know you told me not to marry him, but nah, I got this. I said, okay. Wish you well. Hope I'm wrong.
So let's get to the coaching pieces, right? Of getting them rings. So walk us through, how does that work? Let's say one of my listeners is like, yo, I need to talk to Chad. And so walk them through what that process would look like.
So the process looked like me listening at first, right? And really have you tell your story, right? What you're looking for, what you're actually looking for, what you want, and how your dating pattern is, right? Because right now I'm looking for a pattern. Right. Once I establish the pattern, I ask questions, follow-up questions like, oh, why this, and that? And they're like, oh, yeah, because, okay. And they're like, oh, the sex was good, Chad. Or, he's attractive, or he been wanting me for so many years, give him a chance. Then we hear those stories, right? Then we talk about, like I said, we understand the self-esteem. If there's a self-esteem issue, I want to address that first. And also understanding that that's work. That may not be fun work. Right. And it's not a one size fits all. Right. So what I recommend for you to do may not be what I recommend the other person to do. But that's why even the workshop is very overview. I try to touch different points. Like if a woman have self-esteem issues, I'll probably tell her to do the mirror exercise. And that's basically you're talking in the mirror. Issa did it a lot, and Insecure or whatever. But it could get more intense, right? Because if you have body issues, then maybe there's women that when they got the shower, they will run away from the mirror like they're a vampire. So I'm like, I only want to do makeup and then the close up for the face beat, right? But they don't embrace their body. They don't like the way their body feel or look, right? But you gotta be present in your body. Yes, you can work on what you need to work on, but be present. So look in the mirror naked and play music, sing, word affirmations. Be silly. If it's uncomfortable, play the music, right? Because you got to understand that you have to be comfortable in your own skin.
Right. You want someone
to translate other parts of your life. Yeah. So also love language. We always about word affirmation, all that love languages. Whatever your love language is, performing on yourself.
Yeah.
So that always a foreign concept. People like, what? Do what you love. If physical touch is your thing, get massages.
Yep.
It's act of service, go somewhere and get. You have to now set the tone. Men and women, you have to really understand and love yourself and do the work and depend on a certain person they work on. Like if it's a goals, you got business going on, then that's why I get more on the business accountability part about checklists. Your short-term goals, the big goals. Your goals is to work out every day. We will talk about your working out. So you have to build momentum. That's all. It's like redesigning. Like I said, back in I said about you being a brand, we rebranding you now. New logo, new look, create new boundaries. And a lot of people is going to be uncomfortable with it because you're not the same old person you was where they had in the past.
Change is difficult, yeah.
And get ready for that. Because funny was I was talking to one of my person before, she told me that she ended up becoming celibate. Right? She listen, taking a break, not having sex. And the first thing I said to her when she told me that, I said, do you lose any friends because of that? She said, that's an interesting question. Because I understand how when a person say they celibate, people start taking register about their own life. And wait a minute, is she thinking she's celibate? Is she trying to call me a hoe? Is she, if my whole story made her oh, I don't want that girl. So she lost friends because you're not who you used to be in their way. And they don't know how to navigate this new you. So, and you gotta be ready for that too. You know what I'm saying? Once you're ready to do the change and say this is enough, some people like the way you was.
Yes. Yep. It's a fact.
You a safe space. They know count on you for this, right? And now that you're growing, it may make them feel some type of way about it. And this is not even people you dealing with or dating. This is someone that, you know what I'm saying? You're confidant, whatever. So get ready to understand that those layers of your rebranding, you got to stay strong in that because that's why I always love that my texting line that everybody have a game plan to get punched in the face, right? So you can have all the new game plan, shiny suit and everything. Now you get impacted by your friend not really dealing with you like that. Somebody your past you dated don't want to date you no more, or feel away because you acting brand new, you acting funny, you think you're too good for everybody now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you now stay strong and and understand that they just projected?
Mm-hmm.
Don't take it personal, but you turn on that. You know what, Chad? Or that whole new branded thing.
Things are too different. I can't deal.
This feels right. That unknown. You wildin', Chad, and I understand you may not be ready yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like I said. It's one thing where I understand that it's not the most sexiest. It's not the most eye-catching. That's why even me, I talk about the rings because people want to see something tangible. Mm-hmm. And some people, like you said, there's people that you see that have nothing to show for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You may get one person like, thank you. Like, you don't know that to pay that, you don't know, right? So for me, I said, I understand that part, tangible this. But for me, my wins, what I enjoy is when I see the confidence increased. Mm-hmm. When even though you're single or not, you're loving yourself, right? That's more of a win for me, but we can't, you know what I'm saying?
Quantify that. But do you feel that after, let's say, they find that ideal partner, after, they get the ideal relationship or the relationship they feel that they wanted, do you still keep in contact with them, or do you see that they still keep up with that confidence or the tools that they learned?
Some don't. Mm-hmm. Some is like, thank you, Chad, and bounce. You know what I'm saying? Like graduating. You graduate from school, we're gonna be friends forever.
Yeah.
And it's funny because even before, like I said, I've always been this guy, so no one was shocked by this, that I made it official, quote unquote, was I had my Instagram account, like before I did my first workshop, Instagram shut down my account. So some randomness, right? It's copyright infringement, some weirdness. So I had to start from scratch. So there's so many people DMs that I don't remember them actually. Like, remember, this wasn't my business, so to get testimonies, whatever. This was just something I did just to help people out. I wasn't charging. It was like, get it for $3.99, right? So for me, it's like, some people do contact me again, or when it get rocky again, right? And then that's when it started bringing couples. And I talked to both of them, right? Like, and some guy got to feel warm about me. I'm like, who is this dude, right?
Yeah. So how does that, because I know I have friends that are social workers, that are therapists, and they're like, doing work with couples is different. Some of them don't like doing couple work. Like, what are your thoughts about
it? It is work, right? So one of the great therapists that I know, name is Matt, right? Matt does a lot of couples therapy. He's very big on that. And restoration. Restoration means somebody cheated, someone did something, and he worked that, right? He's great at that. He does marathons. It's like a 4 or 5 hour sessions where he got his coffee, his Red Bull, and they going to work. Like they doing that kind of work. That's not for everybody. That's why he's great at that. Because it's a lot of energy, right? And what happens is, even though you have a third party here, there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And they feel offended. They shut down. This one shut down. They don't want like this one, we ran breakthrough here, this one fell away. Like, right. Or like the last one I had was, he was mad. He felt like I was attacking him. And I wasn't checking her the way he wanted me to check her. I said, no, listen, we have to listen. I'm not going to stop every moment. And but you say, no, I have great bandwidth, right? This is what made me even get into this. Like, I don't take it home with me. I got great bandwidth, but I also understand, let people talk. And I tell people like that, even relationship with mostly women, I give that advice all the time, where I'm like, listen, really listen to a man talk.
Yeah.
He telling us something. We telling ourselves a lot. But women have a script in their head, they don't want to listen. They like, nah, here, all that. Just follow the script. I wrote it around here. We're gonna get married this time. This kid here, the door come here. Listen to what he's saying.
They tell you everything.
So within that, I would let him know, like, listen, this is what we had to work on. Listening. You just ready to attack and not listening. And then when you listen, I could ask her again. Like, so in this part, you said, I remember, trust me, I'm not forgetting what she's telling me. Active listening. I'm letting her go. She want to be heard. She want to be seen. Let her go. Then when she's complete, then I'll tell that. So that moment, it get drained. Like, listen, you want to do my job? I'm sorry. I apologize. Who called who? I'm sorry. I'm confused here. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So it does get a lot of work on couples, but I love it when they get it. Just like single, like I love when they get it and understand it and now actually doing the work. Once again, it all go back to doing the work. And you really there to save the marriage. You really there to learn your partner. Because a lot of men feel like, why are we going to someone to talk about us because they're just going to beat me up? Because you were the one that always nag about things I do. Therefore, I feel like that person is going to gang up on me. I don't want time to gang up on. I want some allegiance.
Is the method the same? Do you kind of go, meaning with couples versus someone individual? Meaning you said you talk about the accountability, you talk about the self-esteem. Do you go through this or is it slightly different?
Slightly different because also creating a safe space, having a conversation. So when it comes to couples, is more of them, let them talk. Like it's more like me letting them talk to each other. Okay. And creating that safe space in words instead of saying, you never do this. More about, you know, when you do this, this is how I feel. So we get to understand the feeling, humanity side. So it's more of that. It's like, all right, culture, like, it's on my role playing way. Like, all right, now say what you said, but do it like this. Go. Okay. But one-on-one is more like, you know, back and forth and more of tools and self-esteem and more in that. This is more how do you function together. Remember, you're now a partnership unit. So we, you know, but it's just that there's a disconnect going on. So it's similar, different, but like I said, every situation is different. So for me, that's why I love the fact that even though I'm certified, I'm still reading, right? Like it's ongoing nature, right? I don't think you know, even though I had natural talent doing this, I also understand where the books come in. I also understand doing the research. I understand that certain patterns, certain things work. And like I said, every relationship is different. It's just that what your dynamic is, I have to now understand that. As a single, I gotta understand the dynamic. But yeah, but that whole one size fit all do not work. Yes, there are theories and, you know what I'm saying, statistics and communication habits, whatever, but it's about functionality. Like if you're happy and you're moving the way you're moving and you're good, great. But if it's not working, then there's a disconnect. We need to go back to the roots. So
in your professional opinion and in your experience and just, again, doing your coaching, but also just in your everyday life, I guess, because you have friends and such that, you know, you're seeing these things happen for. What do you feel is the main reasons right now that you think in, I guess in society or just in dating, maybe in this age group or whatever, that causes relationships not really to kind of flourish in the way that they need to?
Well, it's a lot of factors, but I think that what's the biggest thing is redefining the gender roles. Okay. I think that that's making people very uneasy now because nowadays more women make more money than men now. So the men feel like I should still be the dictator and the ruler because back in the days, money was the power. Correct. So now that women making an even playing field when it comes to money, it's like, oh, how do I feel like a man? And then women now taking on a lot of masculine traits. So that's why now you see the buzzwords now, masculine and feminine energy everywhere. Yeah, masculine and feminine energy. We all have it, men and women. It's just now the balancing act is different now. It shifted a little bit. So you have some people in the stream is, women got to do this. And, you know, back in the day, women used to, we do not know what it was back in the day. We didn't know the hardship. A lot of time they had to sit there in a relationship that was unhappiness. Because now, of financial, yeah. And now it's the gift and the curse, depends who you know, mental health, right? The fact that more Black people looking at mental health now and all aspects down awakens that this is unhealthy. I have to create boundaries now. I have to move a certain kind of way now that is not conditional. You know, usually you just power through. We were married 20 years, 30 years. Yeah, we give it up for them. Now people are like, I am not happy. So it's those layers. So it's different layers, but I think it's more about understanding what you're looking for in a relationship. And that's what I said. That's why, or you go back to having an expectation conversation. Because if I'm thinking about as a man, if I'm wanting traditional, but you want to keep your job, we have to figure out what this new look of us look like and not what our parents used to do. This generation is a little different now that we never, listen, people don't stay the same job for 30 years to get a watch anymore. So we see things change and people like, you know, people bounce too big. What? Out of here. Right. So just like, so now, you know, people feel like it's easy for us to walk away. No, it's understanding that we have to have a different kind of understanding of what this relationship looks like. That's all. I think that's a lot of times is that yes, financial play a role in it, gender roles, and just understanding that us being mental health and understanding of healthiness and toxic and yes, some people use it and abuse it, but understanding that this does not work for me and I'm not feeling it. And I think that's why it look a certain kind of way that people are like, yo, this is not hitting right. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's what it is when I look at what mostly come down to is people understand that my expectation of what a wife look like may not be what I was talking to somebody the other day, a couple, about the buy-in, right? It's like sales. I know people hate sales, but people gotta buy into what you're trying to sell them. And trying to play that, yeah. And leadership, I gotta buy into you what this works here for the team. But if I'm not buying into it, like that video I posted yesterday, where Jill Scott said, if you could tell me what to do, you could tell me what to do. If you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me what to do, right? And that's all about the buy-in, right? And having a safe space where she really feels like you giving the best interest to her. So you can say something, but if you're someone that's not bringing that to the table to say, you should automatically demand that respect, you should already demand that kind of submissiveness.
That's what I was just about to say. And that's what people don't understand about submission. That's what people don't. I ain't submitting to no man who's gonna walk me over a cliff. I ain't doing it. Okay? You need to show, have proven track record that you know what you're doing with yourself first. And then I'll be like, okay, I can follow you. No problem. And there's strength that comes in submission too. And that's the part that I think women also need to understand. In order to make that decision to say, I'm going to follow someone, that takes strength. To say that I'm going to do that. It doesn't mean you don't have your own mind, but it also means that you also have a choice and you made that choice to follow the person. So there's a difference, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, but people try to force their will on people. And that's not it. Like, if, trust me, yes, there's women can feel like, and that's why I say even with women that if you're an alpha woman, alpha female thing, and you in that masculine energy, be mindful that when you home, to be more on the softer side. You know what I'm saying? Both the companies are not like man is wrong here. Women also have to be mindful, like, oh, I'm talking to him like he want my kids. Yeah. I need to tone, you know what I'm saying? Shift. So like I said, it's the new world we in now, it's the shifting of it now. I think so we so caught up in the past trauma, we so caught up in past history and past relationships. These relationships are different because it's bred into mental healthness. It's bred into understanding that the money is different now. The dynamic is different on the money. And what my expectation of a wife may not be yours. And we just need to have the real conversation, maybe uncomfortable conversation. We need to have it.
Yes.
Just the surface level shit is not, yes, my favorite color is purple. Okay.
And
yeah, like what is the functions? What is the logistics of what you're looking for, right? So I think that's what happened. We just definitely have to take a step back and realize that we're in a new world and it's okay. And we just got to realize, take accountability, control the controllable, but have the conversation about what we're looking for and advocate it and find that person. Just because I may like you, it may not be a good fit.
And that's okay. And that's what people need to understand. I ain't for everybody. You ain't for everybody. And you shouldn't. That's okay. So I like to leave and end my episodes off with some gems, which I thought you dropped tons already. But is there anything, if they listen to nothing else throughout this whole episode, that you really want people to take away with them?
Ultimately, I think that when it comes to relationships, or types, even with yourself, you really have to be clear of what you need and what you want. And I think that will help you a lot with coming to navigating. Is you very clear and not just trying to throw a dart, but really sit down and have that vision of what you're looking for in a partner, what you're looking for in yourself, and look what you're looking for in your future. And the more you have that clear understanding, yes, you could. Things change, you could pivot. You know, that's a whole buzzword during this whole pandemic. But as long as you understand your core values, the core morals of what you're looking for in a partner, and not sway or feel like you could force yourself on someone, you have to make an executive decision and realize that even though I like you, even though I love you, I realize that you're just not a great fit. And I think once you have that understanding, that uncomfortable, yes, it sucks. Trust me, it does suck. But it's worth it because you know what you're looking for and want to be happy. That's all.
I agree 1,000%. My viewers and listeners have heard me say those things in different ways. So I am I'm here for that, brother. So tell everyone where they can find you, either on social media, websites, wherever they can locate you and get your assistance in their life.
Once again, thank you again for having me.
Thank you for being here.
It was random, but I love it. I'm here for it. I appreciate the opportunity. For me, Chad Scott Here is my social media tag. Chad Scott Here is because Chad Scott Here. Like every time it's the phone, you just say Chad Scott Here. So that's why it became the company. So that could be launched fourth quarter. But keep me on social medias and to keep you updated once I start launching the whole services and all that, rebranding, so to speak. So
wonderful. So I will include your handle in the show notes so people can reach out to you if they want to. And again, Chad, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Oasis Podcast. I hope you were able to find something that resonated with you on your journey. Don't forget to subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts and YouTube. Rate us and leave us a review and comment on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and YouTube. Share your favorite episode and like us on Instagram and Facebook. If you have any questions, comments, want to be a guest, or any show ideas, contact us at ajaysoasis@gmail.com. That's AAYJAYSOASIS@gmail.com, or direct message us on Instagram and Facebook.